Hey everyone, it's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's a coffee kind of morning. A couple days ago, I did a video on some influential music from the '60s, and I found out that I had quite a few actually, but some great music. You got the Beatles and the Kinks and Beach Boys and um, all kinds of great stuff. Most of the Beatles music was released in the '60s, so of course it was the majority of the video was about them. But again, you had bands like the Kinks and Disraeli's Gears by Eric Clapton and Cream, and the Kinks, of course, another great British band. Today I wanted to look at a particular decade, influential music from 1970. I've got a small amount here from that particular decade. Um, I'm going to do all CDs first, and then I'll go through and do my albums later. But I just picked out some great music from from 1970, and I'll go through that with you and show you what I have. Before I get into it, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection. I greatly appreciate all your comments. You guys have been awesome. I try to respond to all the comments, and I greatly, again, it's really nice to get all the likes and all the subscriptions. Thank you so much. I just want to continue to keep going and I just do my thing, and hopefully it'll work for me. So, having a great time doing it. But anyway, let's get into it. So we'll start off. Why don't we start off something from Canada? This is a great. You know how bands come together for a reason, and they create something big. How about the Guess Who and American Woman? Randy Bachman, Burton Cummings. Just kind of all the stars aligned and came up with this amazing compilation of songs. So you got American Woman, very famous song for the band, um, redone by Lenny Kravitz. I prefer the Guess Who's version, believe it or not. Although Lenny Kravitz's version is great. You've got No Time, which is a great song by the band. Talisman, No Sugar Tonight, New Mother Nature. Randy Bachman had a small track built on one particular side of this song. Burton Cummings had another bit of song put together. They were too short. Either one of them were too short to make a song out of it. They put the two together. They just happened to be in the same key, and came up with No Sugar Tonight, New Mother Nature. It's just a cool song. 969, The Oldest Man. It's an instrumental off the album. When Friends Fall Out. 815, Proper Stranger, and Humpty's Blues, American Woman epilogue. It's also a bonus track on this one, Got to Find Another Way, which is previously unreleased by the band. But yeah, Randy Bachman, of course, went on to form Bachman Turner Overdrive, and the rest is history. The only song released in 1970s and beyond, and it just happened to be their final album as well. Critics aren't too friendly with this particular album, but I think it's great. It's Let It Be by the Beatles. Again, their final album. They had nothing left to prove. They did it all. They could prove that they could sing and write and play their own instruments, and they just kind of let loose on this album. You got Two of Us, Dig a Pony, Across the Universe, the great George Harrison, I Me Mine, Dig It, Beautiful Let It Be, Maggie May, I've Got a Feeling, One After 909, The Long and Winding Road, the beautiful song Long and Winding Road, For Your Blue, The Rock and Get Back, and there's a bit of a mini documentary on this one as well, but yeah. Use that as my thumbnail. But yeah, it's an awesome album. Some rank it lower than it should, maybe. Even myself, when I did the Beatles review, I ranked it maybe halfway. But on its own, it's a great, great album. How about this classic from The Doors, Morrison Hotel? Probably one of my favorites from the band. It's an awesome album. Awesome album. You got Roadhouse Blues, the Rockin' Roadhouse Blues, Waiting for the Sun, You Make Me Real, Peace Frog, Blue Sunday, Ship of Fools, cool song, Ship of Fools, Land Ho, The Spy, Queen of the Highway, Indian Summer, and Maggie McGill. And then there's a bunch of bonus tracks on this one as well. But yeah, it's classic album from 1970. Another power band that maybe were the beginnings of hard rock. I wouldn't say they began it on their own, but they were definitely influential in beginning the hard rock era. This is Deep Purple in Rock. It's a heavy, heavy album. Deep Purple is one of my all-time favorite bands. My first album that I ever owned was Machine Head by Deep Purple. Still have it. Still stands the test of time. This is an awesome album. You got Speed King, the rockin' Speed King right in your face. You got Bloodsucker. You got the 10-minute and 15-second opus Child in Time. Ian Gillan screams his head off in such a good way, though. You got Flight of the Rat, Into the Fire, Living Wreck, and Hard Lovin' Man, the rockin' Hard Lovin' Man. Great, great album. Great, great album. An underrated band that should have been bigger than they were and more popular than they were. Atomic Rooster. It's a great box set. From that, their first album, self-titled Atomic Rooster. Jazzy, rocky, prog, kind of a mixture of everything together. It's you got Friday the 13th and So Bad, Winter, Decline and Fall, Bandstead, SLY, Broken Wings, and Before Tomorrow. Then you got a bunch of side singles as well, but and bonus tracks. But yeah, it's a great, great album. Great band, Atomic Rooster. Speaking of hard rock, bluesy rock, one of the best guitarists ever, maybe. One of them. It's Led Zeppelin 3. 5-course Led Zeppelin. Third studio album released in 1970. You got Immigrant Song. You've got Friends, Celebration Day, Since I've Been Loving You, Out of the Tiles, Gallows Pole, Tangerine, That's the Way, Brawn Your Stomp, and hats off to Roy Harper. Powerhouse. Powerhouse. A lot of people think of this band as a power pop band, sappy love songs. In their later years, yes, they were. But their first 8 or 10 albums were just in-your-face rockin', jazzy, amazing albums. In 1970, so the first album was a double album in vinyl called Chicago Transit Authority. Just blew everyone out of the water. The second release in 1970, and this has been remixed by Steven Wilson. Chicago 2. Some say this is just their first album. Chicago Transit Authority, they feel, was a separate band, but it's the same band. I don't know why they would say that, but anyway, this is their second album. Again, a double vinyl album. It's a single CD album, but just amazing, amazing. Terry Kath, the guitarist, was one of the best guitarists ever, highly underrated. Jimi Hendrix said of Terry Kath that he was better than Jimi Hendrix was. If you ever seen a video of 25 or 624 and you see Terry Kath just wail on the guitar, he's just moving. So has Moving In, The Road, Poem for the People, In the Country, Wake Up Sunshine. Then you got a ballad for Gerlin Buchanan, all on side 2, written by James Pankow. It's just, and out of that they made a single, Make Me Smile, and Color My World. And then on side 3 you've got Fancy Colors, cool song, Fancy Colors. Again, the heavy hitter, 25 or 624, Prelude, AM Morning, PM Morning, and Memories of Love. And then tracks through 19 to 22, it's called Better End Soon. We got the first movement, second movement, third movement, fourth movement, and Where Do We Go From Here? Again, all remixed by Steven Wilson, and it sounds awesome. It's a great album. Great album. I'll leave this one for last, I think. Out of the British, Britain has given us some amazing albums and artists. So this one's made up of 2 heavy hitters in the music world. One probably one of the top solo artists ever, recording artists, and another one an amazing guitarist on his own right, who just happens to be one of the most famous bands ever. This is The Faces. It's a great box set, and released in 1970. And they were formed out of the Small Faces, which had Steve Marriott in it. This is First Step, and sitting right in the middle is Ronnie Wood, of course famous for being in the Rolling Stones. And over in the corner here is Mr. Rod Stewart. Again, one of the highest rated and accomplished recording artists ever. So getting back to the Small Faces, Steve Marriott went on to form Humble Pie. Great rockin' band, Humble Pie. And their first album, they still call themselves the Small Faces, but they removed the Small Faces and then just made it the Faces. But cool. It really highlights Ronnie Wood's playing. He's kind of overshadowed by Keith Richards maybe, but on his own, he's a multi-instrumentalist. Slide guitar, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, amazing lead guitarist. He can play all kinds of instruments. Pardon me. So you got Wicked Messenger, you got Devotion, Shake, Shudder, and Shiver. You got Stone. You got Around the Plymouth. You got Flying, Pineapple and the Monkey, or Pineapple and the Monkey, sorry. No One Knows, Looking Out the Window, and Three Button Band Me Down. Great rockin' album. Great rockin' album. I think I ranked it a 10 out of 10 when I did the review on this particular box set. So another band out of the UK that had its moment of glory, but maybe not as just under the cusp of being a big superstar like Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple or Humble Pie or Uriah Heep, those type of bands. This is Wishbone Ash. I just kept this sticker on here, but this is Wishbone Ash's title track and self debut. It's amazing album. Rockin', progressive, jazzy, bluesy, dual guitars, which were influential for bands like Thin Lizzy and Allman Brothers Band and other bands that used dual guitars. Also, the CD itself is a they call it a HD CD with vinyl LP groove design. So it looks like a little mini 45. You can see the grooves there, maybe, yeah. But it's a great album. Very rockin'. Again, highly underrated. There's so many underrated bands out there. That's why we do these things, to let people know of all this great music out there. So you got Blind Eye, Lady Whiskey, Errors of My Way, Queen of Torture, Handy, and Phoenix. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a thumbnail in this one. Couple more. I just finished doing a review on this particular box set. Little band from Texas. From 1970, and they call it ZZ Top's first album. This will just blow your face off. It's so good. It's rockin', it's bluesy. It highlights Billy Gibbons playing and the rhythm of Dusty Hill, and they call himself Rube Beard at the time, but Frank Beard on drums. Just, yeah, amazing album. Eliminator, a lot of people know ZZ Top from Eliminator, but their deeper tracks and older albums are 10 times better than Eliminator, as good as Eliminator is. Yeah, great box set. And finally, the beginning of perhaps heavy metal. It's a deep, dark, haunting album. Black Sabbath's self-titled debut, Black Sabbath. This is deep, it's dark. It's just, it starts off with the title track, Black Sabbath, then you have the Wizard, Wasp Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically an NIB. You got Wicked World, you got Bit-a-Finger, Sleeping Village, and Warning. Something right out of a horror movie almost, with the haunting cover. But again, a highly influential album to begin the heavy metal sound. And these guys were heavy. These guys were heavy. Yeah. Yeah, out of they formed in 1968, and this was their first band, first album. Sorry. Yeah. So the album itself eventually reached the top 10 on British charts, where it remained for 3 months, and earned the band a devoted cult following on both sides of the Atlantic. So it was beginning of their career, and again beginning of the hard rock movement, and it still stands the test of time. It's still a great album. Some people say it's one of their best albums. But there you have it. There's my look at 1970 and the small group of albums that I have from that decade, but a great, great bunch of albums. It's just, music is so cool. So cool. Anyway, again, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Again, leave your comments below of your favorite albums for that from 1970. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.